Hi everyone, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads. Join me as I do this Rosa SuperDuo Bracelet, which brings back 2 needle designs. It's very easy to do and you get a great look with the SuperDuos. Remember, if you need any materials, go ahead and look below the video in the description to shop with us online. We'll put links there to everything used in this design. So to get started, we are looking at the super simple SuperDuo bracelet, and we are going to expand on this design. So we are going to begin with 2 needles. And the best thing with 2 needles is that you can usually put your clasp on right away. So I have my wire guard here along with my 9mm simple toggle clasp, and I have 2 of my Bead Tech beading needles, size 11 on, along with some gray Dragonthread, about 5 feet of that. I have a wire guard in that rose gold color, and the first thing I'm going to do is put the wire guard on one side of my thread. I have a needle on both sides of the thread, and I have it so that the tail coming out of the needle is approximately the same on both sides. After you put on the wire guard, you want to make sure, holding the needles here and kind of taking that wire guard down to the bottom, that it's in the middle of your thread. From here, we're going to drop on one of our clasps, and then I'm going to move the other set off to the side. We'll use them after. Let that drop down into that wire guard or that wire protector, and then we're going to get ready to start our bracelet. So to start our bracelet, we are going to begin in kind of this floral design with some green beads. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 green beads on the left needle, that chartreuse color, and 3 green seed beads on the right needle. Let those go ahead and fall down next to your wire guard here. And we are going to begin with the first of our green SuperDuos. So we're doing a play on flowers. Rosa is actually an 8-pointed flower, and we're going to do 8 petals on ours. And our green SuperDuos are going to be our leaves. So we're starting out with that green look, that we have a green SuperDuo there in the middle. And once again, we put 1 needle through one side and 1 needle through the other side, kind of separating them out there. From here, we're going to go in and do our leaf design first, which is going to be 1 of our green seed beads on both the right and the left needle, just like we did. And now we're going to separate our seed beads, or our needles. I want to put 1, 2, and 3 SuperDuos on one side of the needle. And if you need to, poke that in if you're not ambidextrous or have trouble with the left hand in the needle. And go ahead and put 3 of those SuperDuos on the other side. That's going to put 3 to one side, 3 to the other side. And I'm going to follow them with an 11-0 seed bead in the green color on each. Now, if you want to do this whole bracelet with the same color SuperDuos, you can certainly do that as well. We are now going to pan out to get our floral design. So we're going to go up the bracelet and then come back the bracelet as well. As we switch over to the design, I am going to switch to my floral color. So I have my metallic purple here. And just like I did previously, I'm going to grab that SuperDuo, 1 needle going through the right, 1 needle going through the left. At this point also, just kind of pull the thread and make sure that you have that toggle there still in the middle of your thread. When you are using the purple beads, you are going to use the purple seed beads on the interior. So just like we did previously, we're going to pick up 1 purple with the right, 1 purple with the left, that lined light amethyst. And then we're going to do our floral design. So the floral design has those 3 SuperDuos going in here. What I want you to do is a combination of lighter purple, lighter purple, and then finish it off with 1 11-0 seed bead. That was on my right needle. I'm going to do the same thing with my left. Light, dark, light, 1 11-0 in that purple color because I'm on my flower. From here, I'm going to bring the needles together basically through 1 SuperDuo, going through 1 needle on the right-hand side, 1 needle on the left-hand side, and dropping this down. And see that they kind of want to turn direction. That's totally fine. We are going to pull them out into that floral design as we go in and add our second layer with our 8s and some of our crystals. Now we're going to go in and do our leaf section. So our leaf section is going to be a repeat of the green. So we're going to grab our green seed beads. And then after this, it's the same thing over and over and over again. So we're going to grab our green seed beads, 1 on the right, 1 on the left. And then we're going to do 3 green SuperDuos. 3 green super duos on right and left, because everything we do on the right, we're also doing on the left because we're doing 2 needles and they're mirror images, and then 1 green seed bead on either end. Now we're in repeat mode. From here, then we add another purple and we keep going. At the end of the design, after you have your first single row, at the very, very end, instead of going into the same pattern, you can see the super duos kind of go everywhere and creating just the 3 little green leaf start. You want to end with a green as well, just like we did at the beginning. We're not starting our flowers until the middle. If you do need to make it longer, shorter, kind of up to you, you can always end at any spot. So you can end at a flower, you can end at the leaves. From here, I have 3 seed beads on each side because I'm going to repeat what I did to add my toggle on the opposite end. I'm going to go in here and go into the wire guard, going up through the wire guard, down through the wire guard on the opposite side. Remember, this is just one of the needles currently. Grab my toggle bar and put that onto my needle as well, letting that fall down into that wire guard. Once that's in that wire guard, just kind of hanging out, I'm going to pull that down towards the project. And I'm going to go in now with the opposite needle and go through the opposite way. So where the thread is coming out, I'm going to go into that side, pulling those beads right next to that end, down through the wire guard on the opposite side, down through the toggle, and out. At this point now, you have that first step of the clasp. So you have 2 threads going through there with the toggle on. We're going to go through our seed beads and then we're going to get ready to go towards the outer edge. So take your needle and thread, go down through those seed beads on both the right and the left. And once we're there, we'll get ready to get started to progress with our design. So for the next step, we're going to take our second trip down the bracelet. We did the first trip down, now we're going back. I've done a little bit on the right-hand side for you to see how the super duos are now laying out. We're adding some more super duos in, some crystals and some 11-0, so we really make that leaf design and those flowers pop. Again, I've done a little bit on one side, and now I'm going to show you on the other side exactly the steps to take because they're the exact same on both sides. So we're coming out of the last seed bead here, and we're going to add 3 of our 11-0s. We're concentrating right now on just the green seed beads to go with that leaf look. And we're going to step up into the second hole of that first super duo on the first leaf. In between the green super duos, we are going to add 1 11-0, sew through hole number 2 of that second super duo. Then we are going to add another 11 and a 3mm bicone in that moss green color. I want you to circle up them back through that super duo. So 11-0, 3mm is on. We're circling up back through. That's going to kind of sit the seed, that crystal right on top. I want you to sew back through the 11-0 as well. So we added the 11, we added the crystal, we sewed back through that super duo and then back through the 11 before the crystal and on to the next super duo. And that's going to set us up to get that nice leaf design. Don't worry too much that you see thread here when we come back down and add our seed beads to make that nice leaf point. You won't see that at all. In between our flowers and our leaves, I want you to add 1 8-0 seed bead, sew through that next super duo, grab a purple. We're going with our metallic purple here. Sew through the next metallic purple. You can see I'm just sewing right through that next line of seed beads here, or that next line of super duos. Grab a super duo, sew through the next empty super duo. So see how that just fills in right there. We're starting to get that flower look. Coming out of our flower, add another one of our 8s onto the next super duo set. When we're on to the next super duo set, we'll do this one more time. 11-0. Through that next open hole of the super duo. So all we're doing is grabbing onto that second hole of all the super duos we added. Add an 11, add a 3mm bicone. Oops. 11, 3mm bicone, 2 or 3 works. Back through that super duo, bring that close towards the design. So back through the 11, your needle should be going toward the crystal when you do so. Give a tight little pull and then sew through the next super duo in line. When you do that tight little pull, just position the crystal with your finger and try to make it sit right on top. See how we're getting that lovely design now of the flower really taking shape and the leaves taking shape as well. So go ahead and continue on with that pattern, adding in your 2 more purple super duos, your crystals and your 11s, and then the 8 between as the connector. After coming down the sides and adding in your last super duos, now it's just time to add some seed beads. You can see I've already gone down the left-hand side a little bit. It makes it lay out really nicely and kind of takes care of some of that flapping and flopping that's going on because you have empty holes. I've already done a little bit on the left-hand side here, and I'm going to come over and do the right. So after you finish going through and adding your seed beads, you're going to take your needle and thread up through the wire guard, through the clasp, and you're going to go down through the wire guard, down through those 3 seed beads, just like we've been doing, up through those 2 beads that are on the side, and add 2 more green beads. When I'm coming in or out of that crystal, I'm adding 2 green beads, 2 more green beads coming out of that 3 millimeter crystal, and we're going to share and pick up that 8O seed bead that's sitting between my super duos. Coming out that 8O seed bead, see how that makes a nice rounded kind of leaf pattern. You're going to add 1 of your purple 11Os, go up into the purple super duo. That opens it up a fair amount. You're going to add 1 11, 1 2 millimeter crystal, 1 11, and into that next super duo. Coming out there, 1 more 11, and once again, share that 8O seed bead. When I share the 8O seed bead, you want to try to make sure that you're sewing towards the outside of that because that's going to make it lay nicer. Add 2 more 11s into the green, 2 more 11s into the gold. We're going to continue that pattern to make it nice and even and laid out as we continue the bracelet on the right and the left. Finishing up the sides and the design, I'm adding 2 more beads coming into that end here. And I did break off 2 of the beads just for tension purposes on both sides. Going in here then and going back up through the clasp. This is my opportunity to go ahead and to tighten this up. So in the project itself, if it becomes a little bit too tight, make sure that you're switching out your 8O in the gold for an 11O. Especially different finishes have different pools as well as different brands. So if you're using a Toho, be mindful of that. I'm going to get my thread and needle back to the exact same position, going through that clasp 1 more time to finish up this bracelet. And also don't be afraid to kind of put it down and just go like that, and that'll lay it out. Look how pretty it looks with those beads for that Rosa SuperDuo bracelet. You could also have used a cup button and actually made a little bit of a bigger loop to make the clasp on this lovely design. Once I go ahead and tie off these extra threads, my bracelet is completed and I'm ready to go to wear this beautiful bracelet of that 8-petal rose. Thanks so much for joining me in this Rosa SuperDuo bracelet. You can have fun with color combinations, get to some of those Potomac SuperDuo collections, and even change it up more. Remember, if you do want to check out the materials, look below the video in the description. You can look there. Also, comment below if you do change anything up, have any questions, or need more ideas. I'm happy to look through those comments. Remember also to subscribe. Don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and stay tuned for our next inspirational design.